Michael J., pastor of Raysville Friends Church, and in Sunday school we went over Matthew 4, the temptation of Christ, and we discussed several things about it. One thing that I noticed about it is that Jesus and the devil were alone. So whatever it is, it's only in there because it's a story that Jesus told to his disciples, and he must have been trying to communicate something to them. And I spent some time reflecting on what this might have been. One thing that he might have been communicating is the types of things that may tempt the disciples in their ministry. There were 3 temptations that Jesus mentioned. The first was a temptation to turn stones into bread. Seems kind of silly that this would have been a major temptation to Jesus, because what harm would it do if he had done this? But think about us, the servants of Christ. We're tempted by need all the time. Nothing can make a person compromise their standards or their beliefs, knowing that they may be hungry or they may suffer physically because of this. It's hard for us now, and it must have been much harder for the disciples, because not a single one of them lived an easy life. Only one of them died of natural causes, and that person died in prison. All of them knew torture. All of them knew want. All of them feared for their lives. All of them feared that their basic needs would not be met. Every one of them faced the temptation of compromise so that their life would be more comfortable, more easy, more of their needs would be met. Second temptation. The devil took Jesus up onto the temple and said, "Throw yourself down in front of the crowds. The angels will save you. They will not let your foot touch the stone." Now, the desire for fame is very common. This would have been a spectacular thing. All of us want sparkle and brightness and to be noticed. This is a real temptation. You want to be noticed. Maybe you want to be noticed more than you want people to hear the good news of Christ. The more we speak, the more we bring a message, the more it is easy to want to become the message, to become what is noticed. And this is a great temptation that we face. The last, though, is truly insidious. Jesus came to preach the kingdom of heaven is at hand. The good news is a new kingdom. What does the devil offer? A shortcut. You will rule all that you see before you if you just bow to me. As followers of Jesus, we face this temptation too. We face the temptation to compromise our values, to bow to the devil, to have political power, to have influence. And it is a tough temptation. I hate to say it, but many times in our history, we have failed in this and have fallen to this temptation. It looks like many of us fall these days as well. There's a fourth thing, though, that really speaks to me. If that's what Jesus was telling them, that temptation is normal, then I shouldn't feel so bad when I am tempted. Even Jesus faced these temptations. All of us face these temptations because they're common to us. It's so easy to think that we failed because we are tempted. But if temptation is common, if even Jesus is tempted, we don't fail by temptation. Instead, we succeed when we are true to the gospel and faithful to Christ, even when we are tempted.